So keep your eyes fixed on this screen, because I will be displaying some points of discussions that are very, very important for you to understand how to use Saccos to buy your own car. I know in Kenya, if you want to buy a car, it looks like a very, very huge mountain that you need to thresh or to break, because you will need to have a huge amount of money in your pocket, cash, or you will be forced to go and borrow. And for instance, if you are not employed, if you don't have a pay slip that you can present to a bank, then it means that people who are willing to lend you money will give you that at very, very high interest. And this is where Saccos come in to save or to bridge that gap. Because Saccos, even compared to banks, they can give cheap loans. Actually, right now, they are giving loans at around 1.2% on reducing balance, which makes it around 13 or 14% per annum, which is very, very small compared to what banks are giving at this time, which is around 19 to 25% interest per annum, depending on your credit risk rating. So if you are a small business person, or if you are a person who earns regular income, but your income is not enough at a go to buy you a car, then you can try investigating several Saccos through the criteria that I will give to you here, so that you can put your money there for a particular for a particular period of time, and then you go and borrow to buy your car. And this advice goes out really to my drivers out there who are struggling to acquire their cars. I have spoken to so many drivers, and they have told me that for many years, even up to like 5 years, they have been driving other people's cars because they have not been able to buy theirs. And Sacco's idea is here for you, so that you are able to capitalize on it and make sure that you go and procure or secure your loan with a Sacco from the insights that I'm going to share with you. So the first thing is that before you go to any Sacco and you decide which Sacco you are going to put your money into, you must investigate and understand whether that Sacco do car financing. So a lot of Saccos give money. So let's say if you have saved 100,000 and you have guarantors, they will give you 3 times your savings. So they will give you 300,000, and whatever you go and do with that money is not their business. So if you go and buy land, if you go and build a house, it is none of their business. So they will give you 3 times your savings. But there are some Saccos that can finance assets, meaning that even if you have saved, let's say, 100,000, for the case of buying a car, let us use a logical number. Let's say you have saved 300,000, and sorry, my screen is disturbing me. And 300,000, that is what you have saved, and you need a car that costs you around 900,000. It means that you qualify to get 3 times your savings, but you don't necessarily need to have a guarantor. That car that you are going to buy will act as a guarantor itself. So meaning that they will give you the 900,000, you go and buy that car, and then they will keep the logbook so that you complete the payment and then you possess that car to full ownership. A lot of Saccos do not do that. They will only give you the 3 times the amount you have saved. But before that, you need to have guarantors. You have to have people who will sign that loan for you. So the most important thing, because I think it is a very difficult thing nowadays to get guarantors, so I would suggest that you go looking for Saccos that can allow you to save whatever amount you can save, and when you need to buy what you need to buy, they can finance you to go and buy that car, to buy that house, but they use that house as the collateral. So for me, that is very, very critical. And as you can see, my points are flowing in, and I will tell you some of the Saccos that I have investigated, and I have found that they can allow you to buy a car using their own money that you have borrowed, and then use that same car as collateral, which is a very, very convenient way for drivers without disturbing anyone to become your guarantor. So Point number 2, what is the credit limit for business people? So you need to also understand, it is not always that these Saccos will give you 3 times your savings. Depending on the risk associated with your profile, some Saccos will say that we will give you 2 times, we'll give you 2.5 times, we'll give you 4 times. So you need to go and speak with the client relationship manager and ask them, if I am an Uber person earning 2,000 per day or depositing 1,500 per day towards my savings in a Sacco, how much money can I get at the end of like 6 months of saving? Can you double or triple my salary or do 4 times? Understand how much they can give you when you will need to borrow, so that you will not be surprised when they tell you you only qualify for only 2 times of what you have saved. So investigate that and have a concrete discussion with your relationship manager. Point number 3 is, do they finance for PSV cars? A lot of people have found themselves in between a rock and a hard place, because they have gone to banks to borrow money or to seek asset financing, and then they get the asset financing to buy their cars, and then the banks tell them, you are not allowed to use that car for public service. You are only allowed to use it for private means until you complete the payment. So make sure that in as much as the Sacco you get will allow you to use the car as the collateral, ensure that that Sacco will allow you to use that car for public service during the loan period. It is very, very important. Otherwise, you might tell yourself you are going to buy a car for business, and then the Sacco will not allow you to do PSV work with that car because of the risk associated. So again, your relationships manager is very, very important to make sure that they confirm those points to you. The other point, do they finance PSV cars? Yeah, I think it is the same point. So I had those 3 points. At the bottom there, I have outlined a few Saccos that I have done investigation, and I have found that they will allow you to use car as the collateral, and also they don't mind you using that car to do Uber or other businesses. So one of those Saccos is, as you can see here, is Waumini Sacco. But the only problem with the Waumini Sacco is that you must be a Catholic faithful. So they will ask you for a letter from your local church, and then that church has to be a Catholic church, and then you must be known in church as a follower or a person who fellowships in that church. So it is not open for everyone, but it is one of the most trustworthy Saccos that I know in Kenya. I was part of them when I used to work for a Catholic organization, and I can tell you they have very, very wonderful products. So if you are a Catholic faithful, wherever you are, you can join Waumini Sacco and then do your savings through them. You can also do Stima Sacco. Yeah, Stima Sacco was initially for Kenya Power employees, but right now is open to public. And I spoke with their relationships manager, and they do finance assets like cars and allow those assets to be the collateral. And then the last one is Biashara Sacco. I actually advised someone to go there because they only require you to save for only 3 months. And then from 3 months, then depending on the risk associated with your profile, they can give you 3 times your savings. So I hope those are ideas that will help you somewhere as you try to discipline yourself towards savings. I tell people, if you just give yourself a whole 1 year of disciplined savings, then buying a car will not be a headache. But if you are waiting for a day until you get 1 million in your pocket just like that, then you will wait for a long time.